Dan and Jerome. um, and we are going to talk about a cool duality related concept today. Before we do though, I want to remind everybody watching that we are monitoring for your comments. We want to hear from you. Please, please, please interact with us, share, like, comment, all that good stuff. And thank you for watching. I'm going to turn it over to Jerome right now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Tuesday Live with us here at 4. And as you can see, we do have a large group. We haven't had, sorry, getting some background noise. There you go. Okay, good.
I think somebody has the
yeah.
Sorry.
The show goes on. So we are excited to have recent graduates, actually, just everyone here with us just took class this previous weekend. I want to give everyone enough time to introduce themselves. So we're excited to have all you guys on with us. We'll go ahead and discuss the topic at hand after everyone's introduced. But again, let's give everyone some time and a little bit of spotlight to introduce themselves, starting with Mika.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Makia Troche. I am an empowerment coach. I partner with women who are experiencing life storms. And later on, I teach them how to dance in the rain. That is who I am.
Very cool. Very cool.
Awesome.
Welcome.
And we'll go on over to Erin next.
Awesome. Hey, y'all. My name is Erin Wilson, and I am a leadership coach that specializes in accountability and power skills, and I also facilitate core strength. So I'm all about figuring out what works for you and helping you move and use those to be even better. I'm super excited to be here today. I'm also a senior consultant for Clear Pathways Consultants and a higher ed a practitioner. So I'm excited to be here with y'all.
A lot going on. Awesome. And then next up we have Raquel.
Okay, I am off mute. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for having me. I'm Raquel Robertson. I am an author, a speaker, an inspiration enthusiast, and a workplace peace advocate, and now a coach. I am also the CEO of Be the Inspire You, which is a motivational lifestyle brand created to inspire people to be the best version of themselves. And I am just really thrilled to be here with all the lovely ladies and gents on the panel tonight.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Nice to have you. And then we have Karel.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I am Karel. Pretty new to the whole broadcasting thing. So just bear with me, but I am a life coach. I partner with women of all ages to help them walk in their power, to live a more fulfilled life. And that's pretty much all.
Nice. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. And we have, I'm going to say this wrong. Kisa. No, I'm not. Said it right? Kisa, there you go.
Hi, everyone. I am Kisa Campbell. I am a certified professional life coach. I am an author, speaker, and a mother of 3. And I help women of faith to fine-tune their vision, to unlock their purpose for a fulfilled life. So I'm a vision and purpose coach as well. So I'm happy to be here. I help take people from where they are to where they want to be with your vision.
Yes.
Welcome.
Got lots going on with this group. I do want to go ahead and give Dan a second to introduce himself as well.
Hi, I'm Dan. No. I'll wrestle you for it.
Okay, go.
What? Right. You win. It's you.
Teasing. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, I'm Dan Alexa, a facilitator for Certified Life Coach Institute. I'm a transcendent leadership coach, helping leaders to discover the truth inside them so they can lead by example and increase powerful results.
Glad to have you back, Dan.
Glad to be here. This is awesome.
By the way, I just want to quickly say hello to everybody watching. Hi to Sue. Hi to Becky Keller. Hi to Latrice. Hi to Bonnie. It's good to see everybody. Bonnie says, oh, it's Story. Hi, Story. How are you? Good to see everybody out there. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to everybody. Lisa, did you introduce yourself yet?
No. So I'm Lisa. Well, I'm the welcome mat to CLCI. Thank you all for being here. We're going to have a really wonderful experience. I also am a couples coach and owner of CLCI. So welcome.
And
Awesome.
now, let's give Brooke a second to introduce herself.
Oh, hi, I'm Brooke. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at CLCI, and I am also a business and brand marketing strategist, sponge for information.
Amazing. Hope we lost your volume, babe.
Yeah, we lost you for a sec.
Nope, she's frozen. She never freezes.
There she's back.
What is going on? Am I back yet?
You
You're
are.
good.
Yep.
Okay, I'm like, what happened? I have high-speed internet. I'm plugged directly in. I just reviewed them today and told them they had a great product. That's why this is happening.
You tell that.
Okay. Real quick before we get started, I just want to mention to everybody out there, Sue, I already saw that you are participating. We are doing a live, the How To Live. Don't forget that. Hi, Pam Childs. Good to see you as well. We got a good group of people watching right now, which is pretty awesome. So please, those of you guys watching, please comment. We want to hear from you. We are monitoring and we love your input. So today's subject is that we're talking about this, it's duality month. So the duality of being a coach and having a whole bunch of experience, bringing that to the table. But at the end of the day, when we're a coach and we shut that door, we've got to be a blank slate. And so how to manage that, how to walk that line essentially. So let's begin with sharing that element of how you bring your experience to the table and how that works and what you feel about that. And I want to start with Dan because he is the man.
That's like been the hardest. I remember back to when I had originally taken level 1. God, what was that, Lisa? 3.5, almost 4 years ago now?
Oh, yeah, it's been a piece.
My God. And I remember those days of like, I have to tell them something. And through this journey of working with a lot of clients and going through the mentoring process to get to PCC particularly, that was where the big breakthrough happened. That accepting that I know nothing on the client side and really immersing into their life so that it's easier to shift from the coaching of the problem they bring in, which is the surface, down to really being present with the person and seeing them as a whole capable human being in the way we start off the class with the Virginia Satir I Am Me poem.
So how did you guys just took level 1, right? How was that bomb for you guys when it was dropped? The we don't give advice. Were any of you guys surprised by that? Were any of you taken back? Yeah, I see Erin nodding your head. Tell me more about that.
100%. Like that blew my mind, right? Especially coming from a consultant background where that's literally your deliverable, right? Like you have to tell people how to do it. And I just happen to do it really well, right? And so getting into this piece really like blew my mind. That was my takeaway. When Dan was like, what did you take away from this, Erin? The major point, I took a lot of stuff, but the major point was that in this piece, it really is the person in the driver's seat, and I just get to be a fabulous co-pilot, right? I ask the right questions. I have the GPS every once in a while, but it's really their address that gets them to where they're going. So for me, it really was mind-blowing, and I'm excited about the challenge, and we'll have to fight both sides.
So how did you manage it? I mean, how'd you manage that? Was that difficult for you to, because I know for me, I have to be very conscientious because I am a consultant strategist, a bossy person who has a controller. So for me, it can be difficult. I have to go like, okay, Brooke, stop. Like, what are you doing? So how was that for you?
For sure. I feel like I kind of naturally did it. I was honestly surprised that allowing people, first of all, I had a really great coach, right? I mean, like I had a coach. Dan is amazing. One of the tools that he used really was to coach people through the class, right? And so in seeing the way he did it, it became so evident. I mean, my goodness, I like, not only was I paying to be a life coach, right? And to get some amazing skills, but I also got to see a master at work. There were people in our class getting breakthroughs. Some people on this live were some of those folks. So to see him do that without telling them what to do and just asking the right questions was magical. And I knew I wanted to be able to put that in my tool belt and have had an amazing experience already doing that.
Real quick, Pam Childs says it was difficult for her. Letitia Walker says, Dan, listen with curiosity is what she calls it. And then Bonnie Stacy says, for me, the idea of not giving advice is freeing. I was concerned I wouldn't have all the answers. And then Pam Childs says, less talking and more questions. I even think just less talking, a lot of silence.
Absolutely. Who knew that the question is to find the right questions, right? And not have the answers. So yeah, I got that
can be
from
the key
Dan.
though, where your experience can still come in to some degree, right? Is that with your experience, you might be able to know what questions to pull maybe a little quicker or, at the right time. Although I don't believe in right and wrong. So I take that back.
I think what happens is you end up trusting your instincts a lot more when you rely on the wisdom that you have brought to the table. Not necessarily are you going to tell them what you think they should do, right? As a coach. But that wisdom that you have brought to the table allows you to delve and trust yourself in the process.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Spot on, Lisa.
Yeah.
But Brooke, like you said,
I think, who was that?
We'll go.
Sorry.
Go for it,
Either
Keisha.
who wants to go first, Keith or Makia?
I was just saying, like you said, less talking, more listening. That 80-20 rule was like the aha moment, right? Because naturally when you're, talking to someone, it's like a back and forth conversation. But in coaching, you have to really tune into that listening skill, and that's something that we may not do every day in conversation. You give input. So that 80-20 was like the thing I took away. It was like 80-20, 20% for me as a coach and 80% for the client or the talent, So that was very eye-opening and important.
Yeah.
Here's the big thing too. I think having the skill to listen, not to respond. I think you have to be a master at that, coming from coaching, but then being stripped of what you thought was coaching and really understanding that you absolutely have to listen. For me, it was a relief because I was like, well, heck, this makes my job much easier. I don't have to do all of what I thought I was doing because I was leaving these sessions so drained because you give so much of yourself because you're digging. I mean, you have this shovel and you're digging and you're like, come on, I know it's in there. And really what we're trying to do, like Erin said, and I said this on Sunday, it's like, I'm the pilot. You're the co-pilot. You're the pilot. I'm the co-pilot. And listen, I'm just sitting here letting you do your thing. I'm going to facilitate, and so for me, it was just like a burden lifted off of me, and just like Keisha said, that 80-20, but just being in a position to listen, not to respond. I was like, oh, this is like baking cupcakes. I could do this all day, Yeah, I was loving that. Yeah, that was a
lot of people have found their value in the advice that they have given. And so for some people, that value when we say in class, it's not about your advice, it's not about who you are in that way. It took them through a really huge learning piece. So it's lovely that came through for you rather easily. Nice.
Yeah, I'm an alumni. So I had to, but I didn't remember like 80-20. Did they tell me that years ago? So it was such a refresher for me because it had been some years for me to just sit back and hear, like she said, it's like hearing it all over again. Like now I can hit the ground running again with different, with new tools or, doing stuff a little differently to improve.
And I think even for you, Keisha, being an alumni, it's a different lens because you're not who you were years ago. And so I share the same sentiments with Makia. I was relieved because in my life, I'm used to like fixing and fixing. So managing that inner fixer was game changing, to know that I don't have to figure it out, right? And my client, they're okay. They're naturally okay. My goal is to just support them into understanding and owning that. And then I think as women, specifically with a lot of women here on the call, we're naturally caretakers and fixers and solutionists. So it's just very liberating and freeing to be in a space where I could support someone and having their own aha without me having to figure it out for them.
Yeah. And I think for me, the best thing was knowing even after I'm finished with the clients, they will have the tools to continue. I think that was the biggest thing. Like the analogy that Dan had used was teaching people, instead of fishing for them, you teach them how to fish. And I think I just keep remembering that, keep playing that through my mind. Like, it is better if you just teach them how to do it so they don't have to keep calling you, you know? And not that I don't want clients calling me, but, you know, like, it's
call
just
me.
better. Right, call me. But, you know.
Well, they'll call you though, because they will appreciate the value that you provided for them to have the thought process, and they'll want to be reminded of that thought process. Like I will have had people that 5 years ago will come back for a visit. When I originally started in 2011, my very first couple came back years later just because they needed that refresher. So when you provide that safe space, you provide that open forum for them to figure it out themselves.
Yeah.
And trust, right? Establishing that trust, safe space. I mean, that to me is like so important.
Oh, yeah, it's critical. I mean, that without a doubt for opening up. I mean, that is something that we as people, I think, often lack, is that place where we can just have a space to think and to be and to create that for somebody is magical, really.
Yeah.
And doing so through letting them lead, really. I mean, it's they create it with you as well.
Absolutely.
The other side, you guys were also students, or not students, coaches, clients. Wow, words are hard, guys. You guys were also clients in the class. And so on the flip side, as a client, there's a tremendous, what happens when you're not giving the advice, right, is they get the full effect of the outcome, and there's nobody to blame. They get the full credit, the full lesson and everything.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any experience with that over the weekend or anything?
In regards to,
well, just, you know,
like the exercises where we kind of flipped into that client role. I think so, because we were able to show up as our true self, and it was a safe space because we knew the other person that was our coach, they're learning too. So we're walking through this together, and then we get a taste of what it's like on the flip side. So I enjoy like all aspects, the observer, client, and having an opportunity to be the coach.
Well,
being an observer was kind of hard, you know.
Yeah.
Being an observer was kind of hard. It was like, wait a minute, I don't like this seat at all. But as a client, I gave them some real life stuff. My coach was like, whoa.
Tell me what was difficult about being the observer? Why was that difficult, being the observer?
You know, because I was sitting there listening to the coach, and then, you know, I'm hearing the client respond. And then as the observer, I'm like, I want to kind of like, but you know, I just have to keep taking notes. I'm like, okay, you know, like I'm an observer right now, you know.
Yeah, that's the fixer, and that part was hard for me as well, because I wanted to fix it or maybe suggest the proper way. And there's no proper way. We all have our unique style, but I wanted to suggest how to get this client to get that breakthrough. So as the observer, you're really
managing your fixer. Like it's a double
right,
manager.
So that's what you were doing.
It made me manage that well, because like I said, the coach, I was like, I want you to ask this, like if you just say this, you can
right.
And like one of the times, the client, she said she wanted to do something, and right off the bat, I was like, that's not what she wanted to do, because of what she said. But it took all the way to the very end, and she said, I don't want to do that at all. I was like, I didn't say this, but I was an observer, so I was sitting here like, just ask the question.
That's exactly how I felt too. The whole time, you know how you watch a movie sometimes and you've seen it so many times that you're mouthing the words while people are? That's exactly how it was. Every time they would ask a question or I would hear the person respond, I would go like, what would I say? And I would like write it down, but also like try to write a note about what they said.
Yeah.
So it was definitely almost kind of overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
It
It's
was.
responsibility to be able to
Yeah.
provide good feedback.
Yeah.
But also use it as practice for yourself. So you're in a good space and you're remembering the questions to ask, right? And what to be listening to. So
I think the observer seat was like the timeout seat for us fixers. And then I just remember Dan saying, keep yourself on mute. And then I remember blurting out and I was like, crap, I'm not on mute. So then I had to remember to mute myself. But when I was the client, I was like, you know what? This is some free coaching. Here we go. This is what I got going on in my life here, And, my coach was like, wow, Makia, I mean, thank you for really just being so transparent. I'm like, listen, I'm here for help. I'm here for an action plan. And I'm like, okay, so here's my action plan. This is what I'm going to do and how to deal with this individual. I'm going to create an avatar for myself, and they're like, oh, Makia, you've really helping me here. And so, I looked forward to the breakout session because I was like, listen, I need some coaching. And I took advantage of that. So, I had shared this with Dan. I was like, when he said 20 minutes, normally you would be like, oh, but I was like, oh, this is 20 minutes for me. I cannot wait.
You were there for the help and the healing, huh?
Yeah, I got it all.
I was there for all of it.
It's an amazing thing, amazing aspect of the class. When we say it can be life-changing, it can be life-changing because you're in the client seat. And if you approach it that way, we have a lot of students, especially level 2 it's breakthrough central.
and I'm still applying the action plan from that breakout.
Yeah.
That's what's amazing.
And I think too, for me, Dan had like a 5-minute session with me in front of everyone. And I know, Dan, you don't like when we praise you, I know. But that 5 minutes literally changed my entire life. Literally. It was like he just asked me the right questions and I haven't stopped thinking about my responses to him. And I'm like, wow, I want to be like that. I want to be able to just change someone's whole entire life in 5 minutes. So, it was just refreshing. It was refreshing. And I can't wait to be, on that side, just helping people. It's amazing. It's amazing.
And he did that without telling you anything, right? At the end of the day, right?
Yeah. And it was the craziest thing because I just started talking about something and he just started picking apart what I was saying. And I'm like, what did I walk into? And then I did try to backtrack, but it was too late. He was like, no.
And I'm like, to Terrell's point, even in our coaching sessions, when we had the breakout, I noticed when you ask I don't know if it's a right or wrong question, but when you ask very, direct questions to what's going on, sometimes we got to the solution or whatever the thing was before the 20 minutes. Like she said, I was able to 5 minutes in, I was like, oh, my life has changed. And so I'm like, is there anything else? Because you learning how to pick up on what they're saying and pull, oh, tell me more about that. Or, and then they get to dig in a little deeper. And even as a client, he was like, whoa, okay, give me, and then he asked me a question that I had to sit with, I was like, wait a minute now, from being a client thing. So if you ask those right questions, it may not even take the whole hour because we was able to get some things in 20 minutes. She's still working on her action plan for a 20-minute session. So,
and like Carol said, it resonates with you. So just that 5 minutes you can keep learning from that 5 minutes and keep learning and building and learning, and because it sits with you, and then you start to think about it, and then that it grows. So sometimes the client may not have the breakthrough right then, but it can happen later too. Real quick, Bonnie Stacy said that she's worried because she's so little experience with coaching, and she's worried that level 2 will be over her head. I don't think you have to worry about
I
that.
doubt it.
Right where you need to be.
You'll be in a good comfort. It's a room that is very accepting, and you, the learning is well, I guess you will be in good hands. I'll just say that.
You're gonna go through.
Will it be Dan and Jerome doing it together?
Yes, it will be.
level two?
Yes,
You will be
Just
all
fine.
right, sis.
All right.
You'll be okay.
Level 2 is built to bring you along, just like level 1 was.
Right.
Definitely more intense, especially the tools and techniques that we're sharing with you. That has got that step built in to help you go through and come along to like the third day, like you guys all felt on that third day, you came together beautifully. A lot of the times students are wanting the question toolbox. We do have that as part of 2 as well, but it's really going to be about you just learning, you just trusting yourself, you just get into that space of where you are really listening to what's being said. And then those questions will start coming organically. One of the things I did to build my question toolbox is I took a book and I would ask questions throughout the book. There was one book in particular that really brought those questions, the deeper dive questions out for me. It's find your book. What questions can you build your coaching toolbox questions from? And then I built a cheat sheet that I could, what would be a good question? Because I, as an introvert, me getting out and in the running is not typically something I do. So for me, creating my own little cheat sheet where I could flip up and go, once I got going, I was confident with the process. I was confident with who I was in that. So what is your Achilles heel and what do you need to do to take care of it?
Right. I think it's important to come
Jerome,
in
really quick. Really quick. Stu Bowl said, Jerome, you have one job. I just had to throw that in there. It just had to happen. And I'm signing off a little early today, but I'm leaving you in amazing hands as always. So thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you guys later.
Thank you,
Bye,
Brooke.
Brooke.
Later.
Let's share with Dan. Dan, how did you build your questions?
2 ways, really. The first was I intentionally did the feedback Oreo, the feedback sandwich that we talk about in level 1 and level 2. What did you do well? What's the place of improvement? What did you do well? And that got me into the mindset after every session, even though I may have felt like I screwed it up beyond belief. Like, okay, you did some things good. There were things to change. And that, maybe that took like 20-25 hours of starting to feel really comfortable with it, and then things started to roll. Then I think the next level was just continuing to read books on coaching, not just question books, because those are out there, but also books on understanding, like Heart of Laser Focused Coaching or Coach the Person, Not the Problem, are awesome for that. And then the biggest thing I noticed, because when I went for my ACC, we didn't have level 2 yet. So I went to and they taught a very rigid structure of, when you break down the hour, you ask this type of question here, this type of question here, this type of question here. And there was a moment about three weeks into that, I was working to apply it with clients that I'd been seeing for a while. And I was so in my head of, it's time for this kind of question. It's time for that kind of question. I could see my interactions were dropping because I was so stuck here worrying about a model.
Right.
And at the same time, I didn't want to be that guy in that class being, you don't need to do it this way.
Right.
So there was one morning, I remember going to meet a client and I had the sheet with me that was their structure. I'm like, leave it in the car. Just leave it and trust. And it was that moment of trust that, the rigid structure up front, now that I look back on it, was kind of like boot camp. They were boot camping there so that when you got further downstream in their module, you really owned it. But it was that intense dive of like, this is the way. that then opened up all the other freedom on the other side. And from that point forward, it was continuing to read into coaching and, watch other people do it and up level my skills and sense more what question to ask than like, what is the question I have to have right now. Knowing I didn't have to have the question opened up the possibility for all questions.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you did a really great job, Dan, with being organic. And even if you needed a moment, you said, hey, let's sit here before you ask the next question. So
Yeah.
I think that just really speaks volumes of throwing away the rubric. I mean, study it, eat it, digest it, and all that. But I think it's power in the moment of seizing when you can sense it because you're not fixated on what's next. You're mindful of where you are with the client. And I think that flows over so much better. And I saw that this past weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And that's just time. It's just time and practice.
And I think when it's organic, I think your talents, your clients can really feel how genuine you are because, it's very cliche, but people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so when you're kind of robotic and kind of scripted, it's like, you're just clocking me by the hour. But when you just kind of can flow organically, and then when you take that pause, it's like, wow, he or she really isn't worried about the time. They're really concerned about me genuinely and the outcome that I'm going to come up with in order to get to whatever my next is. And I think that that's very important. So yeah, figure out your toolbox, know what it is. But I think an organic flow is definitely what's going to build your clientele and build those long-lasting relationships and build your referrals. I mean, obviously, you want to have clients that will refer you out because of the connectivity that they have with you. And I think at the end of the day, those things are important too. And so absolutely, yeah, like Rock said, throw it out, be organic and be transparent.
To me, one of the most important pieces about coaching is to remember that everyone is different, right? Like, I feel like when you come from a consultant point of view, it's just kind of like, drop this here, sprinkle a little bit of pizzazz, right? And then you've got kind of the equation. And I think by pushing that, and especially being encouraged here to push away like the mathematics of like just trying to come up with a formula for people and really embracing the fact that we're all different, just like everyone here, that everyone that we meet with, we need to have a level also of vulnerability in ourselves to be willing to get to know that person and not have preconceived notions. And to me, when you have those, you come with preconceived questions, right? And so to me, that's the exact opposite of everything we've learned, everything that we want to be as coaches. And so absolutely, I think by having those, which are important, that's one of the things that I learned to help hone the questions that I will ask. But I think in order to be a good coach, it's important to throw that out and really focus on the person who's there with you in that time and be present.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I agree with that. I think for me too, that being present is like what really does it for me. It's the funniest thing because during the class, I thought I would never be able to coach like my close friends or even my boyfriend. And it was like the most amazing thing. I think it was yesterday we were speaking and I was able to get him to get to a breakthrough. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got him to do it. Like, I could not believe that. And it was just being present in the conversation. And then I kind of slipped in a little bit of life coaching and asked him a little bit of questions and I could see his whole face like lit up and he's been different ever since. So I'm like, wow, I kind of was, patting myself on the back and I just felt good. And I think too, for me, it teaches me how to communicate with people. Like, just shut up, stop talking so much, allow people to talk and you don't have to do so much. Just, go with the flow of it. And I think that's the best part of being a life coach, just Just going with
Until
the
you-
flow.
Yes.
Just
For real. Now, I would tell you, it's hard when you're doing it with family if you can't escape
Okay,
them. I
I'm-
tell
yeah,
you what,
I'm
I
not-
tried
yeah.
one time with my husband. I did the fantastic Dan roll out of there in your parachute safely and in that meeting. And I went to the kitchen to do something, and he said, "And another thing," and I said, "Oh man, if I was."
yeah.
But see that, so I completely agree. But I will
Yeah.
not. I don't know if I'll open that key or open
Yeah.
that door anymore. So
I don't think I
yeah.
will for more than just him. Of course, we live together, so that's going to be different. But anyone else, I'm like, no, I can't do
Yeah,
it.
no, stay far away from that.
Yeah.
No, but you know,
Far
it's
away.
in you though. It's, you know, when you're a coach, you have to catch yourself when it's people,
Yes.
you know, you
Isn't
have to
that-
really
yes.
catch yourself because you know, Tim, I have done it. And even with my daughter yesterday, she's 16 and she wanted me. Okay, so I have a background in I'm a licensed master stylist as well. So so she comes all the time talking about her hair, and I'm like, Kennedy, I'm not about to shampoo your hair, right? She's like, but I don't know how to do this. And you said you was gonna. I said, I used Dan. I said, I can teach you how to fish, and you will never have to come and ask me to shampoo your hair again. I said, but if I, you know, and she just looked at me. Well, just come and show me how to do it one time, then. Well, it's one time, you know. But it was just like a moment. And then afterwards, you know, I watched her and stuff like that. And she got it. I said, you will never have to ask me how to do that again. You know, but that's how, you know, I go through life anyway. Just, you know, I don't want anybody to be dependent on me, right?
Yeah.
And so I've always had that mentality, like, if I do it for you, then you won't always have to come back to me. And I don't want you to have to do that. But if I teach you how to do it, then you can go on and go as far as you want until you need to come back and say, I'm at another point in life, you know. And so, and that's the beautiful thing about coaching. But I think once you're a coach, it's just in you, and you just have to catch yourself with everybody. It's like, are you trying to coach me right now? Are you trying to coach me right now?
See, and I think that's the difference. If with our family and friends, if we're going into coaching mode, they are going to think we're acting funny, because as a true coach, we are not supposed to be their solutionist, and we're not supposed to do it for them. And I know I have a tendency to just do it. It's easier. But if we step into our true role with the people that knows us best, it's going to be an abrupt, rude awakening, because the long gone are the days that we are just doing things for them versus advising them on how to tap into the inner thing in them and to get it done. So
yeah.
But I think it's
Listen, if I
rewarding
had-
when they are able to just tap into, you know, if I'm able to come up with that answer, I think it's a better reward for myself. You know,
yeah,
you feel awesome when you're like, I did that. You know,
have a growth mindset. So I think that's the difference, and that's the commonality we have as coaches. We're growth minded. We're seeking out the next, and that's the roadblock I know that I've hit, and that we may hit with the closest to us that does not share that same growth mindset.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I felt so needed by so many people in my life for a very long time, because I'm like, I was just giving them the answers.
Yeah.
It's like now I just want to be able to teach y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, slowly but surely I'll work on my family as the time go on. But as far as clients and stuff, yeah, I definitely that's the best part, is just teaching them how to be able to stand strong on their own.
Think.
Yeah, because that's literally all it is. And you know, but yeah, it's just
it's not that they're not thinking, they are thinking. What they want to be usually is confirmed, given permission, the litany of that side of things, and to trust themselves.
Right.
Had reinforcement where for some reason they couldn't trust themselves. And so it's to find that empowerment as you guys are speaking. It's really to get in there and not have that fear of failure.
Right.
Has been so instilled in us, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
I have a new phrase at this point. When in doubt, ask, tell me more about that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If I had $1 for every time I said that since this weekend, I'd be a millionaire, right? Tell me more about
right.
To piggyback off of what Lisa just said and what you all have been sharing, I had a girlfriend call me over the weekend, and she was And it was Sunday, after graduation. I was like, oh, shoot. No, I can't give you no advice. And she's
Not
like,
on the same day I graduated.
not the same day, and I got Dan in my head, and I'm like, whew, here we go. And so she's like, and I was like, and she's like, are you there? I'm like, so what I'm hearing you say is that, and so now she knows I'm listening, and she goes, and she's like, are you there? And I'm just like, I am so 80% in this conversation. I am not even going there. And I was like, not after graduation. There is just no way.
That's the rude awakening.
Because I totally stripped away all that I've ever done. And I'm not blowing it on this conversation. Not an hour after, getting my certificate, and so, I mean, it has just transformed the way that we deal with our family and our friends. And she's like, are you okay? I'm like, I am totally fine.
Rude awakening.
So I saw Sue, who's in the comments, and she said, help me understand, ... right?
Yeah,
so we all know that's one of our big ones, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for
reminding
us that, Sue.
Yeah, help me understand. And so so what I heard you say was, and at the end I said, so what's your action plan? Because apparently she was going to lay her boss out. I just needed to know what her action plan was in regards to that.
And if you needed to have bail money ready.
Yeah, that's all I can do.
That escalated so quickly.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Yeah, that happened to me too. I shared it in class. We had to do we had to get 2 clients. And my friend from Dubai happened to call. And I was like, girl, you called me and I have homework. I have to do this. And she's like, well, I have an issue for real. And I was like, bring it on. And then she was like, why aren't you saying anything? I said, I'm listening. And I finally had to tell her, I cannot give you advice. It's within. And she was like, I knew it was something because you ain't telling me. And we got all the way to the end. And I was like, now what is your action plan? She said, well, on Sunday, I'm doing this. On Monday, she had to lay it all out. I said, see? She said, that was good. You did very well.
Yeah. It's so funny. My 13-year-old cousin, she sent me this. She's been having issues with school and then, kind of having issues with her mom being hard on her about school. And she sent me this long drawn out text. And at the very end of it said, what do you think I should do? And I just had to put my phone down. I was like, I want to respond back and just tell her, just do the work, just do your work. But I just like, okay, you have to figure out, you need to do your work and why you need to do your work. So I ended up being on the phone with her last night for like an hour and a half and she feels better. So I was glad about that, but it was so hard because I'm like, she's 13. She just needs somebody to tell her, but
no, she doesn't.
Yeah.
She's already got her mom.
Well, yes, you're right. And see, I'm still,
she needed somebody in her corner like you
to
help her understand where she was connected with it and what her disconnect from it was.
Yeah.
And that's what you provided her. How exciting for a 13-year-old to have somebody in her corner.
Yeah.
All right.
To listen.
There.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd have been like, Dan!
Right.
I want to hop in for a sec. We've got about 15 minutes left, guys, and we were speaking about duality. I know we're having a bunch of fun speaking about coaching and kind of not knowing, being in that space. Now, if we have, maybe a little bit of time, I'll start with Dan. Is it even necessary to have experience as far as when it comes to marketing? Is that something you even should be putting out to the public? Is it something that will work for you?
Particularly when you talk to your niche. I think experience is important there, that it's the thing that validates your journey, your hero's journey that brought you to doing this, serving that particular clientele. So when you're promoting yourself, you're an expert in an area. When you come in and close the door and there's a client in front of you, they're the expert. And that's the duality, is when if I went out to market myself and say, hi, I'm Dan, I know nothing, I probably wouldn't get very far. I might, that could be a weird thing going on there.
Right.
But the I do this and I know this and I have these experiences in life are what really brings me and for everybody, those experiences bring our authenticity forward into our journey, that our client says, I want to work with her.
Right.
Yeah.
She understands me.
So
I think it informs your practice, right? I think, Lisa, it sounds like you were going to say something similar to that.
go ahead, Erin.
I mean, that's exactly, I just think by having the things in your past, the things that you've done in your experiences and the development you've experienced, it kind of helps create who you become as a coach, right? I mean, it's hard to say whether or not you would go to someone that you don't believe has ever seen a gym to help you get a six-pack, right? So while it may be possible, I think it makes it a little bit easier to kind of connect those dots. So just like each of us all had different areas and specialties and things we wanted to help make sure we give people everything they need, right? Which they already have, just kind of unlock it and kind of remove the scales from their eyes about the power that they already have, right? It's all in different areas because we've had different experiences and we've had people do that for us in different capacities. So I definitely think it really informs the coach that you become and gives you kind of that check mark, right? People go, that person did it. And so I really believe that I can too.
Yeah.
And I think credibility is a big thing. I think you have to have some type of credibility in your background because like Dan said, well, hey, I'm Dan, or hey, I'm Makia, I know nothing. I mean, that's definitely not going to get anyone in your door. But when you can have, some exposure and something that relates to being a person of influence, a person, I'm an author. And so my book, Enduring Through the Storms of Life, that's empowerment. I founded my conference, that's empowerment. So, and then again, being just influential. So, and then coaching people, not the way Dan has taught me to coach people, okay? But being in that industry, I think it's important to have that credibility because, again, it builds trust. And I think that is what's going to be important to answer Jerome's question in regards to marketing yourself. People want to believe who you are, and you have to have confidence in who you are, and they want to be confident in who they're sitting down and sharing their most intimate secrets and things. Sometimes they're sharing with us things that they haven't even shared with other people, and so the credibility needs to be there, and they really need to know that they trust you. And and I think that's something that's really important. And so on top of the box that Erin just checked, I think that's another box that we also need to check as well.
It's to show them the know, like, and trust. How can they know you? How can they trust you? And how do they like you?
Exactly.
And you give them all of that. You're telling them, which is what we're saying. Coaching is not, we're not telling them, but in the marketing side of who we are telling them that we're the most amazing person and we are our own favorite product. Get out there and share who you are and what you're doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that to tie those two dots together from what Makia was sharing, what you just said, Lisa, that the know, like, and trust starts here.
Yeah.
You got to know yourself, you got to like yourself, and you got to trust yourself to go out and do it. And that brings the authenticity and creates the safe space for the client when they walk in.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's true. Because if you're looking behind if you're like this, I mean, they're like,
Although I got to tell you, my first coaching session, I was like, I don't even know what's going on. What just happened?
Wow.
They even had to tell me, can we make another appointment? I didn't even have the wherewithal to think about the next appointment. So
that means you did a great job, Lisa.
yes, well, I did a better job next one because then I remember go with the yes, they're ready to do the next appointment.
Right.
So be confident in yourself. Be confident, be comfortable in your not knowing. You also weren't born just yesterday, that you
Right.
wisdom that you brought with you to who you are today, no matter what your age is. You're there as we are coaches. We are here to help in any way we can along that path, that pay it forward concept. And you guys have been awesomely beautiful through this process, sharing your hearts, who you are. We're really blessed to have you be present today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
You.
Are we closing out?
No,
No, we don't.
That
Yeah.
sounds like a great
I
I
book.
was gonna add, I know, I was gonna add
I'm
to
kidding.
what Lisa said, well, what you guys were saying about, marketing. Messaging is very important when we are marketing, because if you are not talking to your ideal audience and you just showing up, but you're not speaking the language from your experience, then they won't find you or they won't connect with you. So that's very important when we are trying to market ourselves, that we use, messaging around our experiences, so that we can, I want to feel like you're speaking to me.
Right.
I have to feel like, oh, she's talking to me. Oh, he talking.
Right.
Wait a minute. Let me dig a little deeper. Let me go to that page. Let me research, because that's what good messaging do. It brings your person to you versus another pretty picture or another just quote that's not saying anything. Thank you for the encouragement, but I don't know what you do.
Right. And that call to action at
Yeah,
the
the
end
call
of
to
the
action.
marketing. Yeah.
Yes.
So like, what's the next step? Or, letting them know that you want to partner with them.
Yeah.
And even with that call to action, I think it's so important that it's still inviting, not buy my book, buy this, do this, not in a command, but just an invitation. So I think that's really the important icing on the cake with marketing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think I had to learn how to be more vulnerable to be able to be in this field, because for a while I was very just to myself, and I'm still coming out of that 100%. But for a while I didn't want anybody to know what I was going through, like throughout my childhood, and then growing up into adulthood. I'm like, no, nobody needs to know. And then randomly one day I just revealed something, and then it made me realize, like, wow, people really do go through these issues. People really do have these type of like family dysfunction and, just life dysfunction. So yeah, once I started to realize the reactions I were getting, I'm like, okay, wow, this is what I need to be doing. This is how I connect to people. And I thought that's something that I had to grow in. And that was the best thing for me too, because it allowed me to just be free and to just let it go and just not hold it in anymore. And yeah, so it's refreshing.
We're so proud of you, Corral, because
we are.
I mean, we are so proud of you. Like, I mean, and even when you take the word message, the word mess is also in there, so even in your mess, there's a message. And so when you think about that, somebody needs to hear your message. And, just to follow up with Kisa, she does good on that, because even on her social media pages, in regards to marketing, it's like divorced mom, wife, and things like that. And so she's speaking to the audience, and for me, in regards to empowerment, I'm saying, let's endure anyway, you don't have permission to quit and things like that. And so people, it may be a day where you feel like, what, I want to quit, but I'm telling you, you don't have permission to quit. I'm here to empower you, God darn it. So you just have to look at those, you have to look at the message, like you said, and just really be subtle, but you have to be relatable. And I think that's really important in this day and age, and the way social media works and how we're reaching our audience and things like that. But just keeping in mind that in our message, we've all been a mess, and it's important to get that out there, and people will tap into us most definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a strong believer of the fact that we are a lot more alikes than we are different as
human. Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That whole being relatable thing, a little less scary when you kind of think about it that way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a good one.
I'm sure we all have some things that, it may not all be the same, but I'm sure we can cross and go, oh, really? You went through that too? You get what I'm saying? And so I think when we're standing here, or when we're here on this screen as a united front, we get to show diversity, we get to show humanity and unity. And I think that's something that really needs to just be displayed across the world today. And as coaches, coming together with one cause, and that's just to really, empower and help people and get them to their next. I think tonight is just great, and whoever's out there listening to us, we're here, and we're not going anywhere, because
one person who's out there listening, I want to shout Sue out again. She said, these continue to help me grow. And so thank you, Sue. And to be a part of one that you say is helping you grow is just, that's everything. I'm so cool. So thank you.
And
for
coaches rock.
Right. And great job, Aaron, manning down the chat. Look at you.
Hey, I'm a whole pro. You know what I'm saying?
Like Jerome's assistant. You know what I mean? Like,
take my away from me.
And think about the class that we had this weekend. There were 41 of us there.
Yeah.
In 6 countries, including the US.
Yeah.
5 international students. And it was seamless. Like the love came together there. Everything was there. And that's what we're here to create.
Yes.
Yeah. And if I may, Keith, is it okay if I share our connection?
Oh, that's fine.
So funny, Dan and everyone out there, just when we think about the small world and how things are aligned and ordained. So I think there were only
Y'all
2
are
people.
cousins.
No, there were 2 people from Georgia in our class, right? Okay.
I think so.
We so happened to be in the same city. Not only did we happen to be in the same city, when I went to work today, guess who's behind me in the parking lot? We work in the same.
No.
Oh my gosh. Crazy. So, and I don't want to dive deeper into that, but it is just really important to when we speak about the marketing and just the energy that you bring, and there's nothing, I don't believe there are coincidences. So Karel, thank you for being transparent, because as we share our stories, we give others permissions to share theirs. And we're closer and so much alike, like Jerome mentioned, than we're not alike. And so I just thought that was just really powerful.
Yeah.
And had never seen each other.
No,
never seen each other. And it was funny, had never seen each other, but to her point too, Donna, who was in our group on yesterday, from Florida, I met her because we both were in a pageant together. And and so we kept in touch after all those, after all the years, we kept in touch, and we talk all the time. And so happened, we started talking about coaching, because she's a coach, I'm a coach. And she happened to ask me, where did you get certified? And I was like, I got certified. I told them at Orange County, whatever. And she's like, no, I did too. And I was like, no way. Been talking to her the whole time. So we decided, let's go back to class together.
Oh,
So,
I love it.
We was in there together. So it was just like how just the world has just bring us together. And then you just continue to travel and meet people, or somebody. I know somebody that Dan knows. He just don't know that I know somebody that Dan knows.
Okay. Right. And then even the power tonight, with yesterday being International Women's Day and Women's History Month. And I can't not mention the beautiful women of color on here, just the power and tapping into our networks and being able to just expand and expound together in this community. I just think it's powerful. And Lisa, you have a really great thing here. You have great instructors, great technical people. So I'm just elated to have crossed paths and been a part of this.
Thanks for investing in us.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Honored by all of you guys. We are going to have to wrap it up, guys. That was the hour. It felt like 50 minutes.
I know.
I do want to give everyone a quick second to go ahead and let everyone know where they can find you, if you want them to go ahead and find you anywhere. So we'll go ahead and do Mika first, Makia.
Okay. All right. So you can find me on Instagram always. Shay Makia is my handle on Instagram. I'm also on Clubhouse. So please come if you got an iPhone, Okay, because we're in beta phase. So the Droid people, I'm sorry.
Hey, simmer
It's not,
down.
it's not, hey, I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying. And also you can find me on Facebook under, I guess, Makia Shea, just look, put Makia in and you'll find me. There's not many people with Troche, Troche. And my website, www.makiatrocheindoor.com. You can find me there as well. Thank you so much, Lisa, Dan, and Jerome, and my beautiful sisters here. Thank you.
And let's get it from Erin, where everyone can find you.
Awesome, of course. So again, I'm Erin Wilson, and it was a pleasure to be here tonight. You can find me at Clear Pathways Consulting, and so our website is literally just clearpath and then waycs.com. And I'd love to continue any questions that you have. Thanks for having me tonight.
Thank you for being here. And then we've got Raquel, and oh, look at that. She's got her website up already.
Oh yeah.
Hey, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. I can't say that enough. I can be found simply at RaquelShelton.com. It's right there in the name. That's RaquelShelton.com. And thank you guys for having us again.
Thank you.
We're gonna make sure to get these in the comments as well for you guys. So
awesome.
It'll be attached below for everyone watching. And now I've got Keys up next.
It's Keisa. Keisa. And so you can find me on my website at Keisa Campbell, Keisa Campbell.com, like the soup. On IG at officially Keisa, Keisa. Clubhouse, Keisa Campbell, and Facebook, Keisa Campbell. So Keisa without the H.
And then finally we've got Carol.
Carol. So everyone can find me on Instagram _LLYRAK. It's Carell backwards. And then on my Facebook, it's Carell Davis. All of that, you'll be able to keep up with me through there. I will be making changes to my website and everything. But for right now, you can find me on definitely Instagram and Facebook.
Right.
Amazing women.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys so much for being here.
Beautiful.
Do you want to say the final words? I'll drop it in the chat. I know I want to save it for you.
What'd you say?
The
Sorry.
final words. Did you want to go ahead and say the final words as we go ahead and close out? I dropped it in the chat for you.
The benediction.
Are you talking? I don't know if he's talking to me or Dan. So I'm just going to jump off here and go with it. Like I own this place.
I was going to mention.
I do.
You do.
Thank you everyone for watching. I was trying to get Lisa to say comment, like, and subscribe because I know she likes to say it. So it's okay. I'll go ahead and say it. We'll see you guys again next week here, same time, 4 o'clock. And everyone have a beautiful evening.
We have a YouTube channel. Wait. Don't take this off away. We have a YouTube channel. What is the YouTube channel? You got to get on there and like us because
that's why I'm saving it for you. You're so good. We're going to go ahead and drop the actual YouTube channel in the comments here on Facebook. So you can go ahead and subscribe to if you guys would like to. So
nice comments only. Nice comments only.
Yeah.
Share comments, feed into this. And we've got to talk about what our challenge is real quick.
Okay, we're a little over, but we will go ahead and talk about so you guys, since you're here, we're going to be looking for you guys to participate too. So I want to hopefully get you guys in on this. So what we're doing is actually a challenge. We're giving away, Brooke kind of talked about it. We're giving away 3 Pro Restream accounts, which is a really awesome streaming software, which we're using right now. What we're going to go ahead and do as far as the challenge is concerned. So this actually, this video counts. So we have interaction points and then we have actual submission points. Interaction points. So you get 5 points for actually sharing any video that we have posted. So this one is one of those. So go ahead and share if you like for 5 points. And then commenting, you get 2 points for that. And then likes get 1 point. And then if you want to actually hop in on the fun and actually, kind of do what we're asking everyone to go ahead and do, we're calling it the how-to challenge. So submission points, they start like this. You get 10 points for creating your own video and doing whatever it is that you do and teaching someone how to do it. So it can be anything from maybe a technique you learned in coaching all the way down to changing a tire on a car, whatever it is that you know. And we want to also get other people involved in it too. So you get an additional 3 points if you go ahead and tag someone in that video that you posted. And then you want to call them out and ask them to actually go ahead and join you. So that is, in short, the explanation of our CLCI how-to challenge. We have the entire video kind of fleshing it all out for you guys in our previous video that we went ahead and posted here on Facebook. So you can check that out too if you'd like.
Okay. Okay.
Are you guys in? Am I getting yeses from you guys?
Yes.
I've already shared it.
Cool. That's what I'm. All right.
Done.
Yeah, done.
Sue did how to start a fire. So that's what she did.
Yeah, Sue did. Yeah. So
Great job.
anything
A
you're comfortable doing.
campfire or a,
Yeah, campfire. She was outside in her
okay,
yard,
thank you.
and
Okay.
she's- Yes,
like, hopefully not a house fire.
from scratch.
Not arson, not arson.
Right.
Oh, no,
Right,
arson.
okay.
No.
Clarity is everything here. Clarity is
You're
everything.
right. Good call. All right. Again, thank you guys. We are so honored you were here. Thank you so much. Dan, Jerome, you guys are always amazing. We're so honored that everyone was here. Thank you. Thank you.
And
Yep.
we'll see you guys all around, including you guys
Yep.
here.
Invite us
Thank
again.
you.
We love to come back.
Bye.
We will. We definitely will.
All right.